Here's a ridiculous statistic for you. Did you know that the average cost to insure a 16-year-old male as of October of 2024 is $6,701, and for a female, $5,969? It just so happens that I have a 15-and-a-half-year-old male in my house here, who is planning to get his license and start driving soon. Now, there are a lot of things that you can try to do to lower your insurance costs. Not many of them are totally effective or meaningful for everybody, and there are some things to help with insurance costs in the case of an actual accident. One of those things is having evidence or proof or eyewitness testimony of what happened. That's not always possible, but with a dash cam, that's entirely possible, especially when you have a front and rear dash cam, which brings me to the Azdome PG19X. We're going to be installing this today on my 2010 X5 here. This is the car that my son is primarily driving right now. If he gets his own car later, we'll move it over into that so that we can see exactly what happens if the worst case scenario happens and there's an accident, which I hope there isn't. So let's jump right into this and let me show you what comes in this box. Digging right in, we've got really nice packaging here. If you're an Apple addict like I am, you will appreciate just how nicely this all fits together. I know this has nothing to do with the camera, but I figure if they're taking the time to package things this nicely, then hopefully the product follows suit. On the outside here, we've got our primary mirror slash screen slash camera assembly here. Let's see, there's the camera, and these are going to be the back straps. Got some instructions. We've got a cigarette lighter power adapter. It's like a little cleaner, tool, GPS unit, and over here we've got the rear camera and our straps. Oh, looks like we got one more little goodie in here. Looks like a screen protector for this gigantic screen. This is going to be a fairly simple install, and I'm not going to cover the installation too in depth here because each different vehicle is going to have unique intricacies that you're going to have to work through. So we'll cover the most important steps. Step one, identifying where you're going to put the rear camera, at least step one in my case. There are two primary locations that you want to look at. You want to look at this down low location here where the factory camera is, or an easier installation would be up inside of the glass here where you're going to have a good wide field of view. This is what I'm going to go ahead and use for now since I have a backup camera already. I want this wider, higher field of view so I can really see what's going on behind the car. That does mean though that we're going to have to get the cable all the way back here and up into this position here. In many cases, you're going to be able to fish it up and through the grommets or the headliner or whatever that might look like for you. Again, it's going to be totally different for everybody. Once I've got it up in there to test, we'll take a look at it. Then inside, this is where the real magic's going to happen for installation. It's just going to go right there on my mirror. While I'm taking a moment here to get this installed, let's talk about some of the functions and features of this unit. You've got two cameras, one mounted to the mirror itself, and that's the 4K front camera, then your 1080p camera that you're going to be mounting in the back. The mirror assembly mounts directly over top of your original mirror in the car, which means it can also operate as a mirror. You have two options here. You can use it as a mirror alone, or you can run it as a screen. Or inside of the screen option, you can use the screensaver mode and you can run it for a limited amount of time. You can pick the amount of time you want it on. I found for me, I preferred the mirror mode over screen because I had a bit of extra glare here in sunny Phoenix. The 12-inch screen, when you don't have a ton of glare, does have great resolution and was very touch sensitive and easy to use. It does have built-in Wi-Fi so that you can connect your Android or your Apple products using the Azdome app, and with that you can control all the functions of the camera and screen, or you can do it manually through the screen itself. With the app, you can also download in real time so that if something does happen, you can pull that data off and show it to the appropriate authorities pretty easily, or you could do it right there on the screen. It is a 12-inch touchscreen, as I said, which is going to cover just about all the different mirror options you have out there. You have loop recording as one of your primary recording modes, and what this does is it records over old video as you're going, so you never run out. But just in case you forget to go in and clear the micro SD card, there is an option for a reminder to go in there and format that card regularly so that you don't wind up with corrupted data. To make sure your car is safe when it's parked, you do have two different options for parking modes. You have collision detection, which is going to use the G sensor, or you have the time-lapse parking mode that will record continuously for 24 hours. Both of these are going to require the hardwiring system so that you do have power when the car is off. If anything were to happen and you had an event recorded, you could download that data, and using the Azdome GPS app through their website, either for Windows or Mac, you can plot out the course, see your speeds, and see where and how everything was happening for the most accurate representation should your insurance need that information. And just like that, we're installed. We got to peel our little shipping plastic off. And we can see the mirror function works really well as a giant mirror. The camera pops out just to the side here so that it can clear your primary mirror. I still have access to my garage door buttons here, right underneath. And then my wiring, I've got just temporarily run up over so that I can get everything hooked up and get a good long test on this before I figure out how I'm going to permanently install everything. Obviously, there's the option to order the hardwiring kit, which would be great, depending on your circumstances. In my case, the plug-in adapter is going to work just dandy because I can run it down the A-pillar and around under the dash to the center here where I have great easy access to it. So let's go ahead and get this guy powered on and see what we're looking at. Format card, that's going to be the first thing you want to do. This does come with its own card, which is super nice. Okay, format complete. Now what we have is this is our rear view camera up on top of the rear glass, and that's a pretty darn good picture. I've got a really wide field of view all the way out to the side of my parking, all the way over here to the wall. Gosh, that's got to be like 150, 160 degrees. I don't remember what the specs on this are. I'll throw them up on the screen right about here. So we're currently recording up top here. Let's go through and switch through some of our functions. This is to stop recording over there. We'll stop. It says to switch before. Okay, that's take a picture. This must be switching the cameras. It doesn't exactly like my giant LEDs here in the shop, but this is our front view right now. Pretty good view there. And this camera, let's see, on the front, it has a small ball head to it, so we can adjust that just a little bit. And then that one, obviously we can adjust the pitch and angle of it back on the camera. Let's see. That's brightness. We're going to switch our cameras again. Now we can adjust how high this camera is looking. So we want to look down. Okay, we're going to switch again. That's our back camera. It's adjustable as well. The two cameras. Here's the one camera. We've got date, time, information up over here, what's going on with our memory card, and our GPS signal. Wi-Fi is currently off. This is a Wi-Fi enabled camera. We can click back here to see our videos. So front video, emergency video, got all sorts of stuff there. Let's go over to settings. Oh, gotta stop recording. Let's see, G-sensor, screensaver, date and time, fatigue reminder. That's gonna be great for a teenage driver. Video stamps, yep, we want that on. Date and time format, frequency, depending on your country. Parking guidelines, rear mirror. Boot display is the rear camera, date and time logo. Wi-Fi mode, rear flip. If your camera needs to be adjusted, you can adjust that here by flipping it. We'll see what it looks like. Should be upside down now. Yep. Completely upside down, so we'll fix that. Rear flip. We want that off. We have video settings. The front camera is 4K. That's this guy right here, which is super nice. The rear is 1080p. We have wide definition or WDR, impact detection during parking mode. I don't want that on because we don't have the accessory power. And time-lapse recording, 8 hours, loop recording every 3 minutes, time-lapse parking mode. These are all modes that you would use if you were hardwired. Because I'm plugged into the cigarette lighter on my car, the cigarette lighter is going to turn off after I shut the car off. It's going to be different for everybody's car. Language, we have our time zone, format, firmware, speed, GPS, default settings, QR code. Okay, so we can click back out of here. What I need to do is I need to go get some miles on this thing and see how all of this looks. So far, I'm pretty excited. I will be right back with you with some footage. Okay, so here we are in a normal situation, sitting at a stoplight. The sun is in the upper left-hand corner, trying to blind us. Let's see if we can zoom in and clearly see the license plate of the car in front of us. This is 200% zoom, and I can't say that I could read that license plate. Let's back up to where the car was sitting. As I pull this car back, you can see clearly the license plate is visible and legible. This is good because we want to be able to get this type of information in the case of an accident. Now at the same intersection, looking back behind us, you can see those lines across the screen. That's actually because we're looking through my rear glass. We can see that there's a nice field of view here, and you can really identify objects coming from any different direction. This would be fantastic to have in case of somebody rear-ending you and trying to blame you for it, for sure. For reference, as I back up the footage, there was a truck on the right side of the image that had a commercial logo. We can see that we can read the numbers and the name, and that should be very helpful. Moving on to some nighttime footage here, you can see that we do lose quite a bit of clarity. You get some optical distortion because of the dirt and debris on the windshield, plus all of the lights and everything on the road that can wreak havoc on these dash cams. I don't know that even the highest of quality cameras are going to be able to see through a lot of this. So as we roll up here, let's see if we can read the street sign or the name across the street as we come up to this red light. I'm not so sure. I'm going to let you be the judge on this one. Moving to our rear camera, this is what you get through the glass. Now, as a reminder, I think that the image would improve if I had the camera on the outside of the car, but what you can see here is that the lights coming into the camera are very difficult to process, and when we come up to this stoplight here, my son was able to count 15 seconds until those cars in the far distance actually rolled up on us on a 45-mile-an-hour road. They look significantly closer in the camera than they actually are in real life. Now, could this be usable information in case of an accident? Yes. Is this usable information using this as a rear view camera at night? Not as much so as using it as a mirror though. Then we add the added complication of the brake light reflecting off of the glass and all the dirt back there. It's dusty here in Phoenix, so that's pretty normal within like a day's worth of driving. So you really have to ask yourself if you want this on the inside or the outside. As I mentioned earlier in the video, the outside is definitely going to be the better choice for the most clarity that you're going to be able to get in your image and usability. Now, here is a good view of the image at night. You can see that there is quite a bit of information, but the lights really do wash it out. And because there's a combination of the mirror effect, I'm not so sure this is entirely usable at night. During the daytime, you get a lot of glare, which means you can't really use it as a screen. And we definitely did not like trying to use it as a screen. It worked much better as a mirror in this case. You can see I'm trying to move the camera around at all different angles so that we can see every different possibility here, but even still, the reflection was too much. Here as a mirror, it works great. You can see my son here driving. Now, probably shouldn't be paying attention to me as much as he should be paying attention to the road. Moving on to the screen protector, I could not get that thing on there smooth, so I hope you have better luck with it. May the bubble force be with you. So how do I feel about this? Well, as of the time of recording of this video, this whole camera system, mirror, screen, yada yada yada, is extraordinarily cheap. It's currently on sale for $89.99. I can't even take my family out to dinner for that, let alone the thousands of dollars that this could potentially save me in false insurance claims. So I'm gonna really have to leave it up to you. What do you think is gonna be the best use case for you? Looking at it here on the car, I'm happy with the way it works. It gives me enough information to, I think, get my kid out of a sticky situation, or if I do something silly in the car, that could probably cover me too. But you're gonna have to take a look at the link down below if you want to get one for yourself, and then I will see you in the next video.